The President of the United States. For a long time, it's been said the President of the United States is the most powerful person in not just the US, but the entire world. As a matter of fact, this is a list of the main responsibilities of the President. Considering that most of these responsibilities are above my pay grade, I think it's safe to assume that the President might be the most powerful person in the world. But how true is that? I mean, is the President of the United States more powerful than, let's say, the Queen of England? Is she more powerful than Jeff Bezos, who is currently the richest person in the world? What metric do we use to measure power? That's what I want to analyze today, so stay tuned. I'm Chris, and you're watching Factsma. Okay, so because I want to keep this analysis as simple as possible, I'm going to use three main metrics for power and how power is obtained. And yes, I know there's more than three, but these are the three I'm sticking with in this episode. All right, they are family, such as the royal family, political, such as presidents and dictators, and economic, like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Oprah. And yes, although all three certainly overlap each other, I still want to tackle each one individually. All right, let's start with families. Family scientists define power in terms of who is able to influence others to get their way in the family, and who is able to block others from getting their way. In most cases, family power is a property of the family system, not a single individual, because it is almost impossible for one individual to have their way all the time. Scientists have also examined power strictly from inside the family and suggest there are 6 bases of family power. Legitimate power is sanctioned by the belief system within the family, such as the belief that the husband should be the head of the household, that parents should have control over raising small children, or that adolescents should have control over what they wear. Informational power has its foundation in specific knowledge that is not available or is unknown to others in the family, and in one's ability to verbally present the information in a persuasive way. For example, if the man in the household is the only one who knows his income, or if he is viewed as knowledgeable about money, then he is likely to make decisions about how money is spent in the family. Referential power is based on affection, mutual attraction, friendship, and likability within the family. Positive feelings can be a powerful force in making alliances with others. Coercive power involves the use of physical or psychological force in imposing one's way on others in the family, assuming that others are resistant or opposed. Parental discipline, threats, aggression, conflict, and competition are inherent in the use of coercive power because getting one's way is usually realized at the expense of others getting theirs. Expert power is based on education, training, or experience that is relevant to the issue at hand. For example, if the woman of the household is a licensed real estate agent, she may have the most influence on where the family lives. If a child has studied the attractions of Florida, he or she may use the expert power accumulated to wield influence on decisions about a Florida vacation. And finally, reward power is the ability to influence others by providing physical and psychological benefits to those who comply with one's wishes. With small children, parents often influence behavior with candy or sweets. With older children or adolescents, the price of power might be more expensive, a new outfit, or a cell phone. Okay, let's move on. We'll circle back around to family later, but now I want to focus on the second of our constructs of power. Political power. Politics are important when it comes to power. The term politics is generally applied to behavior within civil governments. But politics has been observed in all human group interactions. It consists of social relations involving authority or power, the regulation of political units, and the methods used to formulate and apply social policy. But here's the thing. Authority is an interesting term to me as it relates to power or the rise of power. Adolf Hitler is a prime example. He was appointed Chancellor of Germany in 1933, following a series of electoral victories by the Nazi Party. He ruled until his death by suicide in April of 1945. Upon achieving power, though, Hitler smashed the nation's democratic institutions, and using authority and politics, he transformed Germany into a war state intent on conquering Europe for the benefit of the so-called Aryan race. Hitler's power reigned supreme for nearly a decade, but someone else that had a power of authority for nearly the same time was former President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt, though born to wealth and educated at the best schools, offered the change people sought at the time. His experience in politics had previously included a seat in the New York State Legislature, a vice presidential nomination, and a stint as governor of New York. On November 5, 1940, Franklin D. Roosevelt broke a long-held precedent, one that started with George Washington, when he became the first president elected to a third term. Roosevelt would go on and win a fourth term, taking office again on January 20th, 1945. When it comes to Roosevelt's rise to power, Barbara Perry, professor and director of presidential studies at the University of Virginia's Miller Center, she says, you have economic domestic issues and you have foreign policy with the outbreak of World War II in 1939. And then you have his own political agenda. He had won the 1936 election with more than 2/3 of the popular vote. Franklin Roosevelt was born into wealth, which brings us to our third construct, economic power. Money, according to economists, is a medium of exchange, store of value, unit of account, to which other social scientists might add it is a source of status and social prestige, a provider of physical and psychological security, a contributing factor to human welfare and well-being, a basis for military strength, a source of public influence and political power. Money is an evolving symbol of economic value and social power. Over the past 2,000 years, it has undergone numerous changes in form, content, and the source of value it seeks to represent. In early times, money took the form of objects of different values, such as cows, tobaccos, furs, grain, and various metals. It later took the form of other valuable objects, such as precious metals, which acquired symbolic value as a representative for many other objects. It was also standardized in the form of coins minted from precious metals, whose value was linked to their metallic content. In 2018, the richest person in the world, Jeff Bezos, founder and CEO of Amazon, raised the minimum wage for his employees to $15 an hour. At the time, the decision was praised by many, but there were some opposed. Historically, critics have argued much of Amazon's growth and power came from bleeding and buying out rivals. The efforts have turned Amazon into the most valuable public company in the world and one of the most powerful. Some experts even warn that our reliance on Amazon is blinding us to the darker aspects of the company's ambition. Unless we seriously rethink our understanding of monopoly power and the government's role in protecting us from it, we may pay a steep price in the years to come. So, what did we learn here? Well, we know power can be obtained by status within the family, wealth, and through politics. But power doesn't always have to be a bad thing, I think. Some measure of control is always going to be necessary. There will always be rules to follow and protocols to adhere to. But I think through tough empathy, people can be held accountable without creating an atmosphere of fear. Effective leaders, for example, who understand power can show people kindness, appreciation, which gives them room to learn, fail, and grow. Leaders of character appeal to people's better angels, not the ones of darkness. You see, I think all of us have a personal sense of power, and with it comes a sense of self-confidence that allows us to follow the good advice and ignore the bad, and reach out of the box for bold and creative ideas. Now, of course, all of this just brushes the surface of the concept of power. So, of course, what do you think?